I'm gonna give you a little context for this first example. What happened here is I approached a girl on the street. Within about 30 to 40 seconds, venue changed her inside of this boba tea shop, and we're sitting down, having a drink together, and conversation is going pretty well. She's giggling a lot. She's clearly nervous, starting to open up a little bit. And throughout, what I've been doing is sort of like subtly disqualifying myself a little bit and then trying to get to know her. And that's all designed to make her more comfortable and to make her sort of open up, okay? But then this happened. Yep, we're destined never to work. It's nice meeting you though.
It would.
Huh? It would? It might. You are quite mature for your age.
Thank you.
So what just happened there? Up until now, she's been giggling, she's been responding emotionally to things, right? She's clearly liking it. I've disqualified several times, but this time when I disqualified myself, she actually qualified it for me. She actually took an overt step that is indicating interest. So the interest was already there. The interest was clearly there in an emotional way because she's giggling, she's laughing, she's responsive, she's already venue changed with me, which a lot of people would think it's on just because of that. And that means she likes me, it means she's curious, but it doesn't mean it's on for sex yet. But that moment when she says, it would, that moment when she makes a logical distinction in your favor, that's a key moment. And at that moment, I was like, okay, this is good. This can really go somewhere. And it ended up actually really going somewhere. Example number 2, I'll give you a little context on this one. So I met this girl, I was running a boot camp, met this girl walking through the bar, and talked to her for a minute or so, pulled her over and had a conversation with her and my student. And she's clearly into me, she's clearly responding, and it's starting to go relatively well. And then I actually got her name wrong. And so she got really, really offended by this. And I sort of I passed the shit test, gave her kind of a mock apology, but by mock, I mean I mocked her while giving the apology. And then here was her response.
I semi-hate you right now.
That's okay. I hated you before and you hated me before that. We've had a lot of hate in our relationship. Okay, so that line, I semi-hate you right now, right? What's she doing? Well, number one, she's indicating, an emotional connection, right? Love and hate are very close to each other, so she's indicating that. But the fact that she said, I semi-hate you right now, what's she doing? She indicated at that exact moment, she's not willing to lose me. Right? Instead of saying, I hate you or fuck off or anything like that, she softened it, right? By softening it, what she's actually communicating to me is, I want to communicate to you that I know I should be pissed off, but I can't even bring myself to be pissed off. So socially, I know I should be, but in reality, I'm not, okay? So she's going against a social distinction. She's actually made some kind of decision in her head to violate her social programming. And I'll give you one further little clip. This comes about 20 seconds or so later.
I'm very mad right now.
You're very mad right now?
Yes.
Aw, baby.
Well,
sorry.
most of my boyfriends know my name. Most of my boyfriends know my name.
So why is this important? So now she is bringing back the frame, right? Even when she's angry at me, By angry in this case, it means emotionally reactive to me. But even in this moment, she's hanging on to that frame of my boyfriend. Because I was like, oh, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, we had that frame present in the conversation. And so even when she's angry, she's not willing to relinquish it. So what she's indicating here is she's made a decision in her head, she's not willing to walk away, right? She doesn't hate me, she semi-hates me, i.e. I'm not willing to fully put it out there, I'm not willing to walk away. And then she's like, I'm angry, my boyfriends usually remember my name. Even as she's trying to express anger because she knows she should, she can't get away from that boyfriend-girlfriend frame because she's too afraid to lose me. At that moment, I know she's not willing to walk away, i.e. I know that I have her. Third example, little context on this one. I met this girl and it seemed fairly on, but when I tried to escalate, she wasn't having it. So I decided I needed more time with her, get to know her a little bit, and I'd play it a little bit slower. And I walked her to the bar as an excuse to move her somewhere and as an excuse that hopefully she wouldn't bump into her friends. Just so happened she did bump into her friends, ended up talking to them for a little bit, and then I pulled her away from her friends on the excuse that she now needed to meet my friends. So up to this point, she's moved around a little bit with me, but she hasn't given any really solid indicators of interest. She's given some level of compliance, but it's all been sort of friendly, fun compliance. There hasn't been anything necessarily overtly sexual in it. But then these things happen.
Hey, buddy.
What are you drinking?
Vodka soda, you want some?
Just a little. I just want to try it. Don't give me that look.
No, you should. I should not be drinking more.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem pretty coherent, actually. You don't seem bad.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. So this is indicators 1 and 2. Indicator 1 is that she offers me her drink. This means that she is okay swapping saliva with me. This is a subtle indicator a lot of people miss, but it means she's probably down to be kissed. It means she's open to some level of physical intimacy, even though she's been resistant to physical intimacy that I've put forward before. This is an indicator that she's possibly down for that. Then the second thing, where she indicates that she thinks she's drunk. Now this girl is clearly coherent. We talked for like a long time in the night. She was actually witty, coherent, very together, all that kind of stuff. She was like nothing resembling like crazy drunk or anything. But the fact that she's pointing out that she's drunk, she's trying to like play up that fact. She's putting herself in a mode of, I don't have to be responsible right now. Right? So she's starting to try and like give herself excuses for actions that could be slutty. And again, what we're looking at here is that moment when she's dropping social conditioning and allowing the sexual emotional part to come forward in a tangible way. And then it goes further right now.
No, you can't take it yet. I just met you. What?
Buddy. Me? That was good.
Okay, so I say you can't take it yet, I just met you, right? Which is a blatant sexual come on. Now, it is funny, it is a little bit clever, it's not even that clever, but her response to it is funny, which is positive, and then I like it, right? Now, within the realm of social conditioning, when a man says something like that to a woman, she's supposed to act offended. She's supposed to act ladylike. The fact that she's dropped that facade, the fact that she's just being a natural woman who's allowed to be turned on and be sexual is a huge indicator. And so this moment was really one where I knew it was on. And again, like with these other two examples, it ended up being very, very on and ending with the result that we all kind of want. So what are the takeaways here? Well, basically there are two huge indicators for when a girl is down. The first is when she takes the intangible attraction, sort of like the emotions in her body, the giggling, the touching, that kind of stuff, and she turns it into something logical. Something logical is a mental thought that exists in the real world. So when she overtly says, hey, I really like you. Or if you say like, you can go, and she's like, no, I don't want to. When she actually verbalizes the thought, when she actually creates a tangible out of the intangible. So now the attraction has been spoken, it's been brought to the table, instead of this being sort of like background thing that's not mentioned. So that's one huge indicator. The other huge indicator that the girl is down is that she drops social conditioning. She drops the facade of, oh, I'm a good girl, oh, we can't do this. And she starts actually, I don't want to say slutty because I don't even really believe in the word slutty, but when she starts acting in a sexual manner without fear of the repercussions. And this is actually why it's so important that you act non-judgmental, because you give a girl permission to give you those signals that it is down. So you may be asking, why is this important? Why does this matter to me? Well, I see two very common mistakes that almost everybody makes, and they are related to not knowing when it's really on. The first type of mistake is the guy who doesn't know it's on until way too late. So this kind of guy, he needs every indicator in the world to believe it's on. So if I asked him, when did you know the girl liked you? He'll be like, well, she put her tongue down my throat and grabbed my dick, and then, I knew she liked me. If you need that many indicators to know that it's on, if you need it to be that overt, you're missing tons and tons of opportunities, you're not escalating fast enough, and what's gonna happen is certain girls will feel like you missed the window and they will be on and then they'll be off. Other thing that'll happen is if you're not escalating fast enough, not taking the girl home fast enough, not screening early enough, you'll run into her friends or you'll run into unlucky obstacles that you could have avoided by leaving the club earlier. So you're gonna massively lower your success by just taking too long and having more possibility and more chance of things going wrong throughout the set. Right, and then especially if you don't escalate at all, certain girls never will really escalate or never will get overt, and you'll miss those as well. So that's a huge failing if you don't think it's on often enough. On the other end, there are a lot of guys who are like what I call the it's always on guy. And in some ways, this is actually a bit better, because if you're assuming it's on, then at least you're gonna act confidently and you're gonna make moves and you're gonna escalate. The problem with the it's always on guy though, is he tends to be miscalibrated. And so there are a lot of situations where it's on a little bit and the it's always on guy just assumes it's fully on, and so he'll over escalate or he'll be a little too ballsy, and that miscalibration will turn off what otherwise would be a really, really good set. Or the other thing that'll happen with the it's always on guy is he'll be too obvious. Right, and he'll set up a scenario where the girl, even if she's attracted to him, she knows that he's in it for sex. And so it sets up a scenario where having sex with him is not winning for her, it's losing. It's like, oh, he wanted me and I gave in. So it makes her feel slutty as opposed to making her feel like it just happened. Okay, so being too it's always on can be very bad also. So what you want to do is actually have this idea, have this distinction in your head of when it is on, and when that moment comes, that's when you can lay back, you can chill out a little bit, you can just work on the problem solving and logistics, and you don't have to keep pumping attraction anymore. And again, the indicators for that are either the sort of intangible attraction becomes tangible, it becomes a logical statement, it becomes an actual tangible thing in the real world, or the other one is she drops social conditioning. All right, social conditioning, that whole like, I'm a lady, I'm not a slut, that kind of goes out the window, and she just allows her more natural, innate, biological self to come out with you. So those are the two things you're looking for. And when that happens, that's when you know it's on, that's when you know it's time to start solving the logistics, and it's time to start making moves.